At first, he didn't notice how deeply she had become a part of his everyday life. It wasn't sudden. It wasn't loud. It was quiet, just like him. But that's what made it dangerous. Because the quietest changes are often the deepest ones. He started looking for her without realizing it. In crowded places, his eyes would search for that one familiar face. In random moments, he would catch himself thinking about something she said days ago. Even silence, which once felt heavy and endless, now carried echoes of her voice. And that scared him. Not because he didn't want it, but because he knew he couldn't control it. One evening, they were sitting together, not really talking. The sky was painted in soft shades of orange and gold, and the world around them felt distant, almost unreal. "You think too much," she said softly, breaking the silence. He smiled faintly. "And you don't think enough." She looked at him, amused. "Maybe, or maybe I just don't overthink what feels right." He didn't respond immediately. Her words stayed with him. What feels right? For the first time, he allowed himself to feel without questioning everything. And what he felt was her. Days turned into something warmer. Their conversations grew deeper, more personal. She learned about his past, not all of it, but enough to understand why he had built walls around himself. And instead of trying to break those walls, she simply sat beside them. That's what made her different. She didn't try to change him. She just stayed. And somehow, that meant more than anything else ever had. But love, even the quiet kind, has a way of bringing fear along with it. One night, when the world was unusually still, he found himself staring at his phone, reading their old messages. Every word, every pause, every small moment, it all felt too important now. And that's when the thought hit him. What if she leaves? It wasn't based on anything she had done. She was still there. Still the same. Still close. But fear doesn't need a reason. The more he cared, the more he realized how much he could lose. The next day, something about him was different. He was quieter than usual. More distant. She noticed immediately. "You're pulling away," she said gently. He looked at her, trying to hide it. "I'm not." "You are," she replied, not accusing, just understanding. There was a pause. "I'm just used to losing things I care about," he admitted, his voice low. "So sometimes, I try not to care too much." She didn't speak for a moment. Then she stepped a little closer. "You don't lose people by caring," she said softly. "You lose them by not showing it." Her words hit deeper than anything else ever had. For someone who had spent his whole life hiding his feelings, the idea of showing them felt terrifying. But for her, he wanted to try. And slowly, he did. Not in big gestures, not in dramatic confessions, but in small, real ways. The way he started opening up more. The way his eyes softened when he looked at her. The way he stayed, even when his instinct told him to pull away. For the first time, he wasn't running from love. He was walking toward it. But life doesn't always let things stay simple. One day, without warning, everything shifted. She seemed distant. Not completely gone, not cold, just slightly out of reach. Her replies were shorter. Her smiles didn't last as long. And the comfort that once felt natural between them, now felt fragile. He noticed. Of course he did. But this time, instead of asking, he stayed silent. Because deep down, he was afraid of the answer. Days passed like this, heavy and uncertain. And then, one evening, she finally said it. I think, we need some space. The words were calm. Soft. But they broke something inside him. Space, he repeated quietly. She nodded, her eyes not meeting his. Sometimes, things get too close. And when they do, they stop feeling the same. He didn't understand. Or maybe he did, but he didn't want to accept it. What about everything we had, he asked, his voice barely steady. She looked at him then, and for a moment, he saw the same warmth, the same connection. But it was fading. It was real, she said. That's why it's hard. And just like that, the silence came back. But this time, it wasn't the same. Before, his silence was empty. Now, it was filled with memories, with questions, with her. And the hardest part, she was still there, just not his anymore. That night, he sat alone, staring into the same quiet he once called home. But now, it felt different. Now, it felt like loss. And for the first time, he realized. Loving someone quietly doesn't make it hurt any less, sometimes, it hurts even more.